Welcome to Locked and Loaded Sports. It's time to lock in, load up, and win big. If you're serious about sports and love cashing in on solid picks, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's get to work. In this video, we will discuss Week 7 NFL picks for every game on the Sunday slate using a blend of historical data, advanced sports analytics, SuRed, and real-world sentiment to deliver sharp and sometimes contrarian betting picks. We are starting the slate of games in London for a marquee Week 7 clash as the Los Angeles Rams take on the Jacksonville Jaguars at Wembley Stadium in London. Both teams sit at 4-2, and while the setting is neutral, the stakes are anything but. The Rams are coming off a statement win in Week 6, shutting down the Ravens 17-3 in Baltimore. Defensively, they're flying high. Linebacker Nate Landman had a staggering 17 tackles last week, while safety Quentin Lake came up with a pick and a fumble recovery. This group is young, aggressive, and getting better each week. Offensively, Matthew Stafford has rediscovered his rhythm, with Kyron Williams pounding the rock and Tyler Higbee making timely plays, and a questionable Puka Nacua always a threat to make a splash play. This team is executing when it matters. And let's not forget, this team is a betting machine. 11, 3 against the spread in their last 14 games, and 8, 1 against the spread on the road. The Jaguars are no strangers to London. They're making their 10th international appearance and have played well here historically. But they're coming off a tough Week 6 loss to Seattle, where the offense sputtered and quarterback Trevor Lawrence was under siege, getting sacked 7 times. That said, there's plenty of talent. Travis Etienne remains a home run threat, but then the defense, led by Josh Allen and Devin Lloyd, has been opportunistic all year. Jacksonville is 6-2 against the spread in its last 8 games overall and 4-1 against the spread at home. Though playing at Wembley Stadium technically neutralizes that edge a bit. The concern? When they face the Rams, history isn't kind. The Jags are 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 meetings with the Rams. The matchup hasn't been favorable, and with Lawrence under pressure, that could continue. This should be a physical chess match style game. We are getting locked and loaded with the under, with a lean on the Rams straight up. As we roll into our next matchup, we have 2 teams desperate for traction meet in the Windy City. The New Orleans Saints travel to Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. The Bears, for all their ups and downs, have shown flashes on offense this season. Over the first 5 weeks, they're averaging north of 25 points per game, moving the ball well through the air and converting on third down at an efficient clip. Quarterback play has been inconsistent, but the scheme is keeping them competitive, adding a +5 turnover margin, and it's clear this team is doing just enough right to stay in games. Where the Bears struggle and where New Orleans might have a chance is on the other side of the ball. This Chicago defense has been leaking yards, allowing over 1,500 yards through 5 games and giving up nearly 30 points per contest. That's a concern, even against the Saints offense that's like punch. Now, the Saints have lost 9 of their last 10 and are coming off a frustrating 25-19 loss to the Patriots. A game where they moved the ball but couldn't finish drives. Rookie quarterback Spencer Rattler looked sharp in stretches, but red zone inefficiency and a lack of explosive plays continue to plague this offense. Still, this team has owned the Bears in recent years, winning 5 straight against Chicago, including 4 of their last 5 trips to Soldier Field. But here's the rub. This isn't the Saints team of a few years ago. They're 1-8 in their last 9 on the road and just 2-6 against the spread away from home. Now, the question becomes, can Chicago cover the spread? Asking them to win by a touchdown or more requires trusting a defense that has been anything but trustworthy. We are getting locked and loaded with the Saints to cover. Friendly reminder, hitting the subscribe button is totally free. And for our next matchup to break down, we have 2 teams looking to right the ship in Cleveland as the Dolphins visit the Browns. Cleveland is coming off a rough outing, a 23-9 loss to Pittsburgh where rookie QB Dylan Gabriel threw 52 times but couldn't find the end zone. The Browns managed just 248 total yards and settled for field goals on all scoring drives. That's been the theme. Plenty of effort, little payoff. They're just 1-11 straight up in their last 12 games, and even at home, they've dropped 4 of their last 5. The Dolphins? Not much better. They're coming off a 29-27 last-second loss to the Chargers, where Tua tossed 3 interceptions, including 1 to seal the game. The running game flashed with 128 yards and 2 scores, but Miami's defense continues to collapse late, allowing nearly 30 points per game this season. And the road has not been kind to Miami. They've lost 6 of their last 7 away from home, covering just twice in that stretch. Historically, the Dolphins have had the edge in this matchup, winning 4 of the last 5 overall. But in Cleveland, the Browns have flipped the script, going 4-2 both straight up and against the spread in their last 6 meetings at home. Cleveland's defense keeps them in games, and Miami struggles on the road. We are getting locked and loaded with the Browns to cover at home. And for our next matchup to break down, the New England Patriots head to Nashville this week as favorites, looking to keep their hot streak alive against a struggling Titans squad. Rookie QB Drake May is coming off his best game yet, tossing 3 touchdowns in a win over the Saints. And the Patriots have now won 4 of their last 5, both straight up and against the spread. May is showing command of the offense, and while the run game isn't dominant, the passing attack is gaining confidence. On defense, New England continues to bend but not break, especially in the red zone. On the other side, the Titans are reeling. Rookie QB Cam Ward was sacked 6 times in a 20-10 loss to the Raiders, and the offensive line continues to be a liability. Tennessee can run the ball well, nearly 5 yards per carry, but the passing game has been erratic, and they've struggled to protect Ward consistently. They've now lost 5 straight at home and are a dismal 3-16 against the spread in their last 19 games overall. History leans Patriots too. They're 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 versus Tennessee. Unless Tennessee's pass protection dramatically improves, it's hard to see them keeping pace. We are getting locked and loaded with the Patriots to cover. We wanted to mention our new Instagram page. There's a link in the description. Check it out. Before we discuss our next matchup, we would like to point out our last week 6 video. We correctly chose the winner of these 2 teams' games, Raiders to cover and Chiefs first half under. And we expect to do the same this week. Let's get into it. The stage is set at Arrowhead Stadium, where the Kansas City Chiefs, fresh off a convincing 30-17 win over the Lions, look to keep the momentum rolling against division rival Las Vegas Raiders. The spread. Kansas City has owned this matchup straight up. Covering the spread seems to be a taller task. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense look more like their old selves in Week 6. Efficient, balanced, and mistake-free. The Chiefs racked up nearly 400 total yards, mixed in over 100 on the ground, and let their defense do the rest. Kansas City is now 15-1 straight up in its last 16 home games. And when they get rolling at Arrowhead, few teams can keep up. But Las Vegas comes in with a little fire of its own after snapping a 4-game skid with a 20-10 win over Tennessee. The defense dominated. 6 sacks, 2 turnovers, and Max Crosby was a wrecking ball. Still, this isn't the same Titans offense they're facing now. The Raiders are just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 and 2, 8 straight up in their last 10 road games. Historically, the Chiefs have dominated the win column in this rivalry, 8-1 straight up in their last 9 versus Las Vegas, but the Raiders have kept things surprisingly close at Arrowhead. In fact, Vegas has covered the spread in 4 of the last 5 trips to Kansas City. That includes some scrappy performances where they've hung around just long enough to sneak inside the number. We have some faith in the silver and black this week. We are getting locked and loaded with the Raiders to cover. Our next game to analyze, we have the Philadelphia Eagles heading to Minnesota looking to bounce back after a tough loss to the Giants. Philly remains a powerhouse 20-3 straight up in their last 23 games. Historically, the Eagles have dominated the Vikings, going 13-5-1 in their last 17 meetings, though they're just 2-4 straight up in Minneapolis. The Vikings have been solid at home, winning 6 of their last 7 and covering 4 or 5. Their defense ranks among the league's best, allowing only 19.4 points per game. But the big question is at quarterback. J.J. McCarthy is questionable, and if he can't play, veteran Carson Wentz is expected to start. Wentz's experience helps, especially considering his history with the Eagles, but he's not as dynamic as McCarthy, which could limit Minnesota's offense. This should be a close defensive battle. The Eagles have the edge on talent, but the Vikings' home field and strong defense keep them in it. We like the home underdog. We are getting locked and loaded with the Vikings to cover. Please remember to hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you. For our next game to discuss, we have the Carolina Panthers, who are traveling to play the New York Jets. The Jets, who are winless at 0-6, return home licking their wounds after a brutal performance in London, where the offense put up an astonishing -10 net passing yards and allowed 9 sacks. It was a historically poor outing, even by Jet standards, and questions are now swirling around quarterback Justin Fields and a shaky offensive line that simply can't keep him upright. But the Jets aren't just losing, they're giving points away. They've surrendered 26 points per game, and while the defense showed flashes in Week 6, including their first takeaway of the season, it hasn't been nearly enough to overcome the offense's collapse. On the other side, Carolina Panthers enter Week 7 at 3-3, fresh off a thrilling 30-27 victory over the Cowboys. Running back Rico Dowdle exploded for 183 yards on the ground and added a receiving touchdown in a breakout performance. Quarterback Bryce Young, while not dominant, has quietly put together a string of efficient games. And he's finally starting to show the pocket-poised Carolina hope for when they drafted him. The numbers tell an interesting story. The total has gone over in 10 of the Jets' last 13 and 4 of the Panthers' last 5. Despite Carolina's brutal road record, just 2 wins in their last 20 away from home. They've covered the spread in 4 of their last 5 games overall and tend to put up points regardless of venue. Historically, Jets vs. Panthers leans under, with 4 of their last 6 matchups having stayed below the number. But this is a different Jets team. Not just bad, historically inefficient. And with both defenses prone to giving up chunk plays, a late score could tip the scales. The Panthers should win this game, but it does smell like a trap game. So we are getting locked and loaded with the over. And a lean on the Jets to finally win as home dogs. It helps our channel a bunch if you smash that like button. Thank you. This next week's 7 game takes us to Mile High, where the Broncos are hosting a Giants team riding the high of their biggest win in over a year. Rookie QB Jackson Dart sparked New York's offense in Week 6, leading a 34-17 upset over the Eagles. Cam Skatibo punched in 3 touchdowns on the ground, and for the first time all season, the Giants converted red zone chances and moved the chains on 3rd down. But here's the catch, that win came at home. Now they travel west, into a stadium where the Broncos have won 5 straight and covered in 6 of their last 7. Denver's defense? Relentless. They just racked up 9 sacks in London and held the Jets to negative passing yards. Yes, negative. They now lead the league in sacks and are allowing just 16.5 points per game during their current 3-game win streak. Offensively, Bo Nix is playing clean football. No fireworks, but no disasters. That's all this team needs when the defense is erasing quarterbacks every Sunday. And while the Giants looked sharp last week, we can't ignore the broader picture. They are 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 road games. Denver owns this matchup. They are 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 head-to-head meetings. So when the clock hits 0 on Sunday, expect the Broncos to do more than just win. We are getting locked and loaded with the Broncos to cover. And for another classic NFC East showdown to discuss, we have the Washington Commanders heading to Jerry's World to face the Dallas Cowboys. This game features a rivalry rich with history. The Commanders have been one of the hotter teams lately, winning 10 of their last 13 games straight up. QB Jaden Daniels is settling in well, and with Jay Krosky-Merritt running for nearly 6 yards per carry, Washington's offense relies on a balanced physical attack. But their defense has been vulnerable at times, and on the road, Washington has struggled against the spread, going just 3-6 in their last 9 road games. When facing Dallas, the numbers are even worse. Only 1 cover in the last 8 meetings, and just 1 win against the spread in Dallas during that span. The Cowboys, meanwhile, just are coming off a tough loss to Carolina where they were gashed on the ground, allowing nearly 240 yards to former Cowboy Rico Dowdle. Dallas's own rushing attack was stifled with just 31 yards. The team has been inconsistent overall, winning only 2 of their last 8 straight up and going 3-8 against the spread at home in their last 12 games. But when it comes to playing Washington, Dallas has been dominant. They've covered the spread in 7 of the last 8 meetings, including 7-1 at home, with the total going over in 8 of the last 10 games in Dallas against Washington. This sets up a physical battle, but Dallas's home dominance and history against Washington give them the edge. We are getting locked and loaded with the Cowboys to cover at home. Reminder to drop a comment with your favorite picks of the week. Another afternoon Sunday matchup is an intriguing NFC showdown as the Green Bay Packers hit the road to face the Arizona Cardinals. The Packers enter as favorites, but the numbers and recent form make this a compelling betting puzzle. Arizona comes into this game struggling, having lost 4 of their last 5 straight up. Still, they've been stronger at home, winning 6 of their last 9, and the matchup history against Green Bay at State Farm Stadium gives them some confidence. The Cardinals have won 4 of their last 6 games at home against the Packers, even though they've gone just 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 at home overall. When it comes to totals, Arizona's recent home games have been high-scoring, with the total going over in 5 of their last 6 at home, but when facing Green Bay, the total has often stayed under. Green Bay, meanwhile, has had a rough time covering the spread lately. They're just 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 games and have struggled on the road, going 1-4 against the spread and straight up in their last 5 and 6 road games, respectively. Still, the Packers have the upper hand in the head-to-head spread record, covering 4 of their last 6 games against Arizona, though their straight-up record in Arizona isn't great, winning only 2 of 6. This is a tough one to pick, but we are getting locked and loaded with the Cardinals to cover at home and a big lean on the under. Our last game on the slate is a Sunday night football matchup at Levi's Stadium, where the San Francisco 49ers are field goal favorites hosting the Atlanta Falcons. San Francisco enters Week 7 off a tough 30-19 loss to Tampa Bay. The real blow wasn't just on the scoreboard. The Niners lost star linebacker Fred Warner to a season-ending ankle injury, adding to a growing list of defensive absences that already included Nick Bosa and George Kittle. With their core shaken, the 49ers gave up 6 sacks, turned the ball over twice, and looked out of sync down the stretch. The Niners have won 4 of their last 6 games straight up, but against the spread, the numbers are ugly. Just 1 cover in their last 6 at home, and 4 in their last 15 overall. Even against Atlanta, they've covered just 2 of the last 6 meetings. However, San Francisco does own the Falcons historically at home, winning 13 of the last 16 straight up. Meanwhile, Atlanta may be just 2-4 in their last 6, but this is a different Falcons team in 2025. Their defense has quietly become one of the league's best. With players like Grady Jarrett and rookie Zach Harrison leading a fierce front, they've made life miserable for quarterbacks all season long. Offensively, rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr. has taken over and shown promise. He's thrown for nearly 1,000 yards through 5 games and is backed by a strong run game led by Bijan Robinson. The Falcons rank near the top 10 in total and rushing offense, though they've yet to consistently finish drives and rank in the bottom third in scoring. Historically, Atlanta has struggled in this matchup. They've covered just 4 of their last 14 in San Francisco and have lost 18 of their last 25 road games overall. But history doesn't tackle or throw the ball. This year's defense is the real difference maker. We are getting locked and loaded with the Falcons to cover. That wraps up another breakdown here on Locked and Loaded Sports. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the latest sports analysis and betting insights. More picks, more locks, and more action is coming your way. That's all for now. Stay sharp, stay ready, and get locked and loaded.